Welcome to A Girl in Love with Tech podcast. My name is Rachel Rabo. I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, a Microsoft Power Platform developer, and a Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM developer. So I'm the host of this podcast, and our lovely guest for today is Mayowa, who is a Dynamics 365 F&O developer. And we are going to be learning so much from him about finance and operation. So hi, Mayowa, if you can please introduce yourself.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Like you said, my name is Maiwa. I am a technical consultant for Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. I've been doing this for 9 years now,
Wow, that's amazing.
and I'm happy to be on your podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Like, especially for our listeners, maybe this is the first time they are hearing about finance and operation. And this is the first time on this podcast, we are going to be talking about Dynamics 365 F&O. So please, if you can explain for them what is Dynamics 365 finance and operation.
Okay, Dynamics 365 F&O is one of the ERP offerings that Microsoft has. It is a cloud-based ERP system. I don't know if you are familiar with the concept of ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning Software.
Okay.
So this is a cloud-based ERP system. However, it is suited more for large companies and diversified companies. So basically, it's in a nutshell, a software that companies use to manage their internal processes end to end.
Wow. That's amazing, Maiwa. That's really amazing. And there's one thing I want to ask. How did you get to know about Dynamics 365 F&O?
Well, for me personally, I did some research. Now, this
Okay.
is during a time in my career where I wanted to move into the IT space. At
Okay.
that time, I was working in a different industry entirely. And although I had some background with programming and web development, I wasn't working in that industry and I wanted to move to the IT industry. So I did some research and I started to learn about ERP systems.
Okay.
And then some of the big names that come to mind, you have SAP, you have Oracle, you have
Okay.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
And for me, it was easier to move to Microsoft side because I was already familiar with Microsoft technology. I
Okay.
was a C# developer at that time, so
Yeah.
it kind of seemed like the natural thing to do. So I gravitated more towards Microsoft ERP systems, hence F&O.
Wow. That's really amazing. That's nice. Like you said, I love your journey, how you got the opportunity to research about Dynamics and also got into the career on Dynamics 365 F&O. So I want to ask, what do you use for your, like in your day-to-day role right now? What tools do you use to work with F&O, with finance and operations?
Yeah, so the basic tool for a finance and operations developer. Now, there are two types of consultants you can get that
Okay.
interact with the ERP system. We
Yeah.
have the functional consultants and technical consultants. So, like I said earlier, I am a technical consultant. And what
Okay.
that means is I make modifications to the existing system as they were. So
Okay.
for technical consultants, the basic common tool that we use is Visual Studio. Right? I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Visual Studio. Uh,
Yes.
and so Visual Studio is what we use to develop, and the language we write in is called X++.
Okay.
X
Wow.
like phone, X++. Yeah.
Okay. What is it a programming language, the SS plus?
Yes, X++ is a object-oriented programming language, very similar to C Sharp. Um,
Okay.
the syntax is very similar. The differences are in some of the things, some of the syntax that you write is a bit different in terms of how you can. There is some SQL querying involved as well,
Yeah.
and it is more geared towards business processes, basically. So
Okay.
yes, but every principle of object-oriented programming applies. for X++.
Okay. Would you advise anyone to come into to learn Dynamics 365 F&O? Do you think it's a career that anybody can join, can learn? And do you think it's going to profit that person?
Yes, absolutely. So being a consultant for F&O, first off, there are multiple career paths you can follow. If you decide to specialize in F&O, you can be a functional consultant, you can be a technical consultant, you can be a project manager or a business analyst. So there are multiple career paths you can choose to follow. But yes, I would advise, if you have the interest in ERP systems, Microsoft systems. Microsoft is a household name, and
yes, yeah, it is.
The learning curve for everything Microsoft is not steep, because we are very familiar with a lot of Microsoft products, Word, Excel.
Yeah, true, that's true.
So because of that, it's somewhat easier to learn and understand a lot of the concepts that will come with F&O. So if there's anybody that wants to follow that career path, and by all means, like any career path, you need to be dedicated, of course. You need to work hard, and if you do so, you will enjoy the work. Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about the job market for Dynamics 365 F&O? Because a lot of people, before they start learning or before they start pursuing a career, they want to know about how the job market looks like. What do you think about the job market in Dynamics 365 F&O?
So from my experience, the job market for F&O, depending on the career path you have followed, is quite big. There is a lot of demand for experts in finance and operations, because the ERP is becoming popular by the day, and more companies begin to imbibe it, the more demand it is for people that understand the ERP system and can modify it and can work with it. So every day there is higher demand for experts in finance and operations. So if you are looking at joining or becoming a consultant, now is a good time to do so, because there is high demand for consultants out there.
Yeah, that's very nice. Like, I think one question I would love to ask you that I think is very important, and most people will have this particular question, because when they hear about Dynamics 365 finance and operation, they think, okay, maybe this can only be used with maybe companies that has finances, stuff like that. So I want to ask, what companies, what enterprises or places you think can use finance and operation, Dynamics 365 finance and operation?
Yeah, so finance and operation is a very robust ERP system. It caters to virtually every industry, so to speak. It caters to, it can be used in manufacturing. It has a very robust manufacturing feature that comes out of the box. It can be used in the service industry. It also has a very robust service feature that comes out of the box as well. It can be used in banking. The finance bit of the system is pretty advanced. It can be used in industries like operations, in downstream sector. It can be used in telecoms. It can be used in virtually every industry you can think of. I think that's the idea that Microsoft had when they built that system, because it's quite large and it's quite robust. So yes, there is really no limitation, so to speak, as to the type of industry that you can use Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. Yes, and this is where we come in to make sure that some processes are suited, tailored specifically for your industry.
That's really nice. I think there's a shop or a place I went to recently. They sell furnitures, and I noticed that in that particular place, they're actually using F&O. You understand? So it's something that can be used in any industry. So if you're actually listening to this podcast and you're thinking that, okay, Dynamics 365 F&O looks like a very big name. How can I bring this into my company, or how can I advise the people in my company that, okay, this is a very good tool that we can utilize? So as you have heard from Ayowa, it can be used in any industry. You just have to work more on it, do your research, and check on, okay, how can I apply this into what I need and maybe the issues I need to solve in my company.
Absolutely.
Do you think that F&O is a platform that can easily be adopted?
Yes, I think so. In terms of ease of adoption,
Yeah.
F&O is one of the simplest for ERPs of that grade.
Okay.
Because I mean, like I said before, Microsoft is pretty much a user experience standard, so to speak. So
Yes.
a lot of the everyday applications you use, like Excel, like Word, Outlook, and so on and so forth, are already
Okay.
pre-integrated into Microsoft Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. So
Yeah.
adoption is somewhat seamless because we have situations, for example, where you can, write your finances on Excel, and then
Okay.
the system would incorporate those finances
Yeah.
automatically. So
Wow. That's amazing.
ease of use is one of the key criteria that I think Microsoft has put in place to make sure that
Okay.
that ecosystem is easy for anybody to use.
That's really great, Mayowa, and that's a very great explanation. So, as you have heard from Mayowa, it can be easily adoptable. So you don't have to be scared that, okay, I cannot use this particular tool. And especially for our listeners, where do you think they can actually start their journey? Like where they can actually start learning on Dynamics 365 finance and operation?
Well, the very common places, of
Yeah.
course, Google. So a quick Google search would show you some links where you can
Okay.
get more information on the ERP system. If
Yes.
you are a company and you are looking to adopt the ERP system, but you are not sure, you can reach out to partners, right? Microsoft
Yeah.
has implementation partners that you can reach out to, and I'm sure they will
Okay.
be willing to explain to you or demonstrate to you how the system works.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
for an individual that is trying to get more information, you can go
Yes.
to Microsoft website, and there are detailed documentations there.
Yeah. Microsoft Learn. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Microsoft Learn that would pretty much explain to you in detail the
Yeah.
processes you want to understand, how the system works, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So there are resources out there. All you need to do is find them.
Yeah, that's true. Like there was one time I was talking to someone, and there's one word she told me that I can never forget. She told me that Gogo is her best friend. Like if you
Yes,
have any question, you can easily just ask Gogo. Like, what is
absolutely.
this? What is that? You understand? So you don't have to wait on someone to start your journey. And Microsoft Learn is so amazing that it shows you how you can shows you the basic knowledge, the fundamental, because there's nothing like learning the fundamental knowledge of a platform. So it shows you the fundamental knowledge of that particular platform, and you get assessments while going through a learning path, and you have
Yes.
different modules. And one thing not to forget, we have also Microsoft certifications. So while you are learning, you can build projects and also write Microsoft certification on Dynamics 365 F&O. So thank you very much, Mayowa. Do you have any advice for our listeners?
Well, try to work hard,
Yeah.
stay focused, and really, there is a lot of opportunity out there. All you need to do is find it.
Yeah, true. Very
Mm.
true. Thank you. So,
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
yeah, thank you, Mayowa, and see you in the next podcast. Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone.